Hey family, so today we're making pizza dough. So I found this recipe on the internet, but I just went to look it up and it's gone. So I'm glad I wrote it down. Let's take a quick look at it. I'll put this at the at the end so you can take a better look at it. But I'm just going to post it as we go. Here's the stuff you're going to need: sugar, yeast, salt, bread flour. And in that jar there, in this bottle right here, that's where we put our olive oil. So you can see nothing here is, high-end brand. It's most of it's generic stuff. So the Red Star, this is just active dry yeast. I just bought a big bag of it because you can get a big bag for $10 on eBay or spend $6 at our store for the 3 little packets. So I got the big bag and I keep it in the freezer and I scoop out 1 teaspoon at a time. So what we're going to do, this is my second batch tonight. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to put 2 cups of warm water in here. And by warm water, I just turn our hot water on the sink and let it run for a while until it gets as hot as it's going to get. And I've put the thermometer into it and it comes out about 110 to 115 degrees, and that's just where we want it. So we want 2 cups of that in here, and we're going to put 6 teaspoons of sugar, and we're going to put 1 teaspoon of yeast. And then I let it sit for about 10 minutes, and we'll let the yeast bloom, and I'll show you what that means. So hold on a second, we'll get the water in there, and I'll put the sugar in, and I'll put the yeast in. Okay, so what do I mean by letting the yeast bloom? Well, I put the 2 cups of hot water in the bowl. I put in the 6 teaspoons of sugar and stirred that around so it's sugar water. And then I put in the 1 teaspoon of yeast. The yeast is going to feed on the sugar water. And what it looks like right now, it'll look different. It should be more foamy and frothy and muddy looking on top. And we'll come back in about 10 minutes and we'll take a look, and hopefully that's just what it looks like. Okay. Let about 10 minutes go by. You can see it's definitely frothy, more frothy, I say like muddy, like a muddy surface on top of that water. That's just the yeast. And those little tiny round little balls, they get rehydrated in the warm water. That sugar water helps them do what they do, grow. So that's what they're doing right now. They're growing. What we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next step, and we're going to add 6 tablespoons of olive oil. Remember, I said to keep that in this thing. So I'll put 6 tablespoons of that in there, and I'll mix it for a little bit. And then while it's mixing, I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of salt. Give everything a good mix, and then I'm going to put in 3 cups of flour, and I'll let it mix for a little bit, and then I'm going to put the final 3 cups of flour. So it's going to take 6 cups of flour total. And I just got this generic brand of bread flour, and so that's what I'm going to get. That's what's going to happen. So first things first, I'll get the oil and the salt in there. I'll bring you back while it's mixing, and then next I'll bring in 3 cups of flour, show you what that looks like, and then I'll bring in that final 3rd cup. And then we'll move to the next step. Alright, so just put my 6 tablespoons of olive oil in there. So 6 tablespoons of olive oil. Now we got 1 teaspoon of salt. Drop that in. I did spin the mixer when I put the oil in. And then I just put that salt in. So we'll give it a little stir a couple of times. Very good. Unlock it, lift it up. So next I'm going to put in 6 cups of flour, but I'm going to put them in 3 cups at a time. So I'll put in 3 cups of flour and I'll bring you back. Okay, here we go. 1 cup. That's 2 cups. Here we go, 3 cups. So I like to mix at this point. Get everything mixed in together, it'll turn into like a big old floury soup. once it's all mixed together, then I'll bring in that last 3 cups of flour in. And then at that point, once the 3 cups of flour, that final 3 cups is in, and it all pulls together, the last step is to just let it go for 6 minutes. And you turn it off, and you throw it, and, you measure them up, put them in some oiled bags, and I'll get them in the fridge. Right, you can see we're getting close. Let it bang on the side of the bowl a little bit. And if it looks good enough, we'll bring in that next the final 3 cups of flour. Okay, here we go. It's cup number 4. Okay, cup number 5. Okay, here we go. Cup number 6. And we mix. So we're going to mix this, let it all come together. And we want it to all pull together. As soon as it pulls together, we're going to let it just sit and spin for 6 minutes. And you can see it's just on stir. Number one setting. So I've made this a ton of times. I just made a batch just before this batch. 6 cups of flour, 2 cups of water, teaspoon of yeast. You got the sugar, you got the oil. But see that? See how it's starting to come together? It's starting to pick up a lot of that flour. What's going to happen is going to get all that flour, all the flour on the edge, all that dried out stuff. There's a wet pocket in the middle, and it's just pulling that stuff in there, little by little, little by little. Okay, we're getting closer. Okay, so right there is when we hit the 6-minute mark. We're going to go for 6 minutes. And guess what? We're going to sit here and watch it. And little by little, it'll pull those remnants off the side. Some of it might be dried on there from the last batch of pizza dough. But this on there, it's going to make 3 medium pizzas. And they turn out really good. I'll tell you, we're going to put them in the fridge tonight. Take them out a couple hours before it's time to make them. Let them warm up a little bit, stretch them, put them on some pizza pans. Let them rise again, and then as people come in, we'll have them put sauce on it, cheese, and then whatever toppings they think sound good, that's what will go on their pizza. So look at that. We've been mixing for a minute. Pulled off all the stuff off the side. A lot of that stuff, like I said, is from last time. It just sticks on there, right? You think, oh, it's just going to stay there. It'll walk itself off of there. It'll start mixing again, and then it'll climb right back up there, right to the top. It'll look like it's going to fall out of the bowl. It does all sorts of stuff. But you know what? We've been watching for 90 seconds. I think we'll come back after it's all done. And only a few more. Okay, well, our timer for 6 minutes just went off, so we're going to stop this. See what it looks like. Looks just like it did the last time. I'm going to go up. It's going to seem a little sticky. Seemed a little sticky last time. But what I'm going to do is dip my hands in that flour. Really helps to have it not stick to me. Get that stuff down there in that bowl. And then we'll get over to the cutting board and we'll weigh it up. Alright, so I scooped that dough out and threw it on the board. Turn on the scale. Really what we're doing, looking for about 200 grams. And then we'll roll them into a little dough ball. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put them in these Ziploc bags. And what I'm going to do, use some of this oil, pour some oil in there, and so it doesn't stick. That dough should just roll right out of there. So let me get to measuring, and I'll pour the oil in the bags, and then I'll bring you back when I'm ready to form those into dough balls. See, it's just that simple. That simple. Straighten out a little bit more. Right. So you don't need fancy pan spray. You know, these things, just chopped them into 3 equal looking balls. That scale's not always right. Try it 3 times, get 3 different measurements. So there you go. You know, we'll snap that on there. And then from here, we put them in the fridge overnight. And they'll rise. They'll definitely be double their size by tomorrow. The whole house will smell like a pizzeria. It's awesome. It's going to be great. But I take them out of the fridge a couple hours before I want to use them. First hour, I just want them to warm up before I start stretching them to put them on a pizza pan. Pizza pan, I put Crisco. You know, the shortening. No oil or nothing. It's the Crisco, the shortening, the white stuff that's creamy like butter. Put that on there, put it on your pan, and your pizza won't stick. I don't like the cornmeal, so it's not my thing. But I just turn the oven up to its highest temperature, whether it's 500, 550, 450, 475, whatever yours goes to, go all the way to the top. And your pizza should be done. Put sauce and cheese on it and your toppings. They should be done, you know, 8 to 10 minutes. All right, enjoy, everybody.
Cherish it, Georgia!
Don't ever let it go!
This thing was like
That's the one I would use if I ever had one. Because I don't need a straw, you know?
I was spilling on my